The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What is going on, boys and girls? It's Bogdan Savchenko and I am very excited to tell you more about StarWind Virtual Sun. The sun is shining, summer is not far off, it gets warm outside, and I completely understand that nobody wants sitting back at the computers watching videos on YouTube. However, you can't miss this top room because it's gonna be very hot topic on tap today. But first things first. So let's then make sure that everybody can see my screen and hear me well. So I'm asking you to drop the message into the GoToMeeting question box in order for me to understand if everything runs properly. Perfect. Very good. Right, so let's move on. Okay. Alright guys, I'm very pleased to greet you at our weekly tap room, and today we're gonna talk about StarWind Virtual Tape Library. Also, do not forget to prepare your questions for me, and please note that we are recording this webinar and very soon it will be available on our website. Right? Okay, and we go further. Yeah, that's me, and just a couple words about myself. So my name is Bogdan, and as you probably guessed, I'm technical support engineer of StarWind company, and yeah, and I really like what I do. And you know guys, challenges every day. However, I suppose only under such conditions you could improve your skills and learn more about new technologies. Yeah, okay, do not waste our time and let's move on. Alright, so let me make a quick overview of today's topic. So, first of all, I'm gonna show you how we recommend to configure StarWind Virtual Tape Library to our testing environment. And also, afterwards, I'll be glad to answer all the questions you may have. Alright, and just before, let us remember what we actually know about the tapes. Right? So, tapes will never die. Tapes are much cheaper than spindle drives. And you know, that approach is the best one in terms of price capacity. Yeah. So actually, yeah, I said that new technologies change people. However, in our case, it's like, you know, they say that your friends help you move, but good friends help move your bodies. Uh, actually, that's not what I meant. Nevertheless, StarWind VTL allows you to virtualize existing tape backup infrastructure, simplify all backup jobs, all backup operations. So such operations will require much smaller backup window. So yeah, I suppose that's it. I don't suppose that I need add anything on this matter. Alright, so I suppose now we can move on to our testing environment. So, give me a sec please. Right, so what we have here? We have two storage servers. However, for our testing purpose, I suppose we will use just one of them. It would be good enough. Alright, and right before your eyes, again, is well-known StarWind Management Console, and also, as you can see, there are a couple of devices which have been created by my colleagues, I guess, yes, for some purposes, some testing ones, I guess. Right, so let's then start. Okay, we are pressing right button on the server and go to Add Device in Advanced mode. Yeah, this mode is more flexible and allows us to get more configured options. Right, so we are looking for tape device and we go next. On your screen you can see three options to choose: virtual tape, physical tape, and physical tape of the loader. So as for the physical tape, yeah, that's true that that options will allow you to export existing physical tape devices as a target, and also we call it as tape redirector. However, that's not our case, as well as physical tape of the loader, which allow to automate such operations. So we are looking for virtual tape. So we actually gonna emulate hard device and present it as virtual tape. So we have chosen the virtual tape and we go next. On this step we'll have to give it a name and specify the location. So let's do it then. For example, VTL tap room and the location. Alright, let's double check it where we're gonna put our virtual tape. Right, so I propose you to put it on the SSD drive. Doesn't matter for testing purposes, so let's leave everything by default. Also, you can see another option which allows you to use existing virtual tape library which have been created before. Right, so let's then go next. This step, select device model to emulate. You could choose among three device models. Yeah, not so much as you can expect it, as you could expect it. However, I suppose they could cover all of your purposes. So let's choose, for example, this one and press next button. Actually, this is the last step, specifying target parameters. Again, I don't suppose that we will change everything and anything on this step. So let's then again leave everything by default. However, please be aware that you are able to change the name, and also you are able to change the target name, which will be displayed in iSCSI initiator. Right, and then we go next and press create button. Okay, job is done. Just now we have created our VTL. So then the next step gonna be connecting this newly created device in a SCSI initiator. And given that we have decided to use just one server for our testing purposes, so then we gonna connect it over the loopback interface over the 127001. However, just before, let's create tape. Yeah, so on this screen you can see that you're able to change tape type. So again, doesn't matter. For example, also you are able to customize the tape size and split it into the parts. Alright, and we press create. Alright, so you can see that again, just now we have created first tape and the total size is 800 gigabytes. Right, so let's then move on to iSCSI initiator. Okay, let's start from discover tab. Right guys, so in this window you can see that we have already discovered two portals, one over the loopback interface and the second one over the iSCSI channel. So again, as I mentioned before, we're gonna use just one storage server. So for our purposes, actually, the loopback interface is good enough. So we're not going to change anything on this step. So we are able to move on to targets tab, and also you can see a lot of targets which are already connected. However, let's find our newly created. So let's press refresh button, and I hope and I'm 100% sure that it will appear then. Yeah, here we go, our new created target. So in order to connect it, we'll have to press connect button, check this checkbox, enable multipass, and go to advanced settings. Over here we are selecting Microsoft as SCSI initiator as local adapter, and we will leave this field by default, I mean the initiator IP, given that we're gonna connect our device over the loopback interface, and target portal IP would be as 127.0.0.1. Okay, let's press OK button. Right. Okay, let's then double check the active sessions on the favorite targets tab. Over here. Yeah, everything looks fine. And then we go to Device Manager in order to make sure that our device hasn't any conflicts with the system. Yeah, so on this step you can see a couple of VTL libraries which have been created before. And so, important point, do not forget to install actual drivers. So given that we used HP tape library, so please move on to HP website and download corresponding drivers and then install it. So yeah, because it's very important point. Do not forget to do it. So yeah, we have preconfigured a bit this system before. So we have installed the latest drivers. So as for now, you can see that everything looks fine actually. Right. Okay, guys. So now we have created a virtual tape library, and the next step gonna be configuring backup jobs into some backup soft. So mostly, most of our customers use DPM, and I know a lot of guys which prefer VM. Again, just up to you. So, right, guys, I suppose it's enough for today. So then I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions which you may have. So please drop them into the questions box at the GoToMeeting software. So okay, I give you some time. Okay, so we have a couple of questions. So Russell Snelson is asking, what advantage do I get from using virtual tape? Listen to me, Russell. Given that that we guided by principle of disk to physical tape approach, so I suppose the advantages are obvious. So the backup window is much smaller, and so just up to you. When the time comes, you could migrate the data to the physical tape, and as mentioned before, it could simplify backup operations. So, right. And next question. Will this presentation be available after the conference for those of us who arrived late? Yep, as I mentioned before, please follow our website, and I suppose very soon this webinar will be available on our website. Right, and another question from Evgeny Moskvin. Evgeny actually is asking recommendations for setup a SCSI connection over network, multipass, jumbo frames, etc. Yeah, so according to our best practices, we recommend to enable jumbo frame option on each network interface, which would be responsible for StarWind operations, so iSCSI and sync channels accordingly. And as for the multipass, so as you may know, the preferred multipass policy is round robin, which could allow you to have all channels in active mode simultaneously, which could increase the performance. However, again, so it's very interesting question, and it definitely would be depend on different things, on the network throughput, on hardware specifications, on network interface specifications. For example, if you have just 1 gigabit network interfaces, which we have decided to use as SCSI channels or as synchronization channels, which actually be responsible for data replication. So in that case, you better go with failover on Lampere policy. Thus, going with that approach, you will have we recommend to specify loopback interface as active path. Because if my memory serves me right, and if I'm not mistaken, the loopback interface operates on approximately up to 10 gigabit speed. So, right. Okay, I'm looking for another questions. Okay, guys. Joan Helmer actually dropped the message, no questions. You want to say that my presentation was useful, right? And we have another question from Roy Pesh. Roy Pesh is asking, so the retail doesn't have a backup software. Yeah, you are right. However, you could use retail tape, StarWind retail tape libraries, which have been created for backup jobs. So you will be able to connect that to tape library in some backup software, VM or DPM, again just up to you, and then you'll be able to use your virtual tape libraries for storing the data. So yeah, actually VTL operates on the rope with some backup software. Come on, guys. Any other questions for me? All right. So looks like we have no more questions. So then, guys, I want to wish you a great day and thank you for attending. So last thing which needs to be highlighted that, yeah, as I mentioned before, this tap room would be available uh, after our session on our website. All right. So have a nice day and see you, hope very soon. Bye bye.